Now, Vinny is going to make um, a small, a medium, and a large arrangement in natural timber bowls, which he actually turned himself on his own lathe, and he makes them in 3 different sizes. He tells me that they have to be kiln dried before they'll actually be ready for sale, but he just wanted to use them this evening just to let you see that they will be available probably about March. So they possibly will maybe even warp a bit because they haven't been dried at this stage, but you can do a lot with, if you have a nice natural container like that, you can do an awful lot with it with very little material, because the container is doing 2/3 of the work for you. So this is the baby one. This is the mini arrangement. White calla lily is always a lovely flower to use. Use it a bit in wedding work as well. And the stem on the calla lily is very soft, so that's the reason why it's been supported at the top. And a nice antique anthurium. So all the colours are very, very soft and very toning in that creams, greens and golds. I think the small one is nearly finished. And whoever wins any of these 3 bowls this evening, just make sure that you put a protective mat or something underneath it, because they haven't been dried out, so don't send us the bill for your mahogany table if it's in bits. And I think actually, you know, with anything that's not ceramic, I think you should always be careful to put a mat underneath it. And this is the medium bowl. They fit one inside the other. And the foam is just barely above the level of the bowl here. So there's not an awful lot of heavy filling in to be done on it. It's really just masked with the galax leaves and with the bun moss. And the red roses we'd automatically cut them at a good sharp angle, but always if you're using roses, make sure you cut them at a good sharp angle to open up the drinking cells. And if you're working with roses, it's always much better to work with them down low, close to the foam, because they have a much better chance of taking in plenty of water. And just while we're on the subject of roses, if you ever get a rose and it necks on you, that's usually an airlock, and you can get rid of that by just recutting the stems, opening up all the drinking cells, putting them into an inch of boiling water, and then immediately into cold water up to the neck. And the shock treatment of going from the boiling water to the cold water, the shock treatment releases all the airlocks, and it's usually just an airlock. And sometimes they get airlocked even if they've been out of water for maybe a minute. A rose can get airlocked. So as soon as you get roses, immediately cut the stems and put them directly into water. But, you know, don't think the rose is dead if you see it just necking like that, because it's not dead. You can revive it. But I think it's much nicer to use roses low down. I just prefer the textured look of roses down close to the foam. All done. And this is the daddy bear now coming up, the big fella. And I think this has been his last piece as well. You can see he works much quicker than I do. I'm not too sure what the big gold ball is here, but I think it originated as a light. It's been used on many occasions for many different jobs. I don't think the light works anymore on it. That's probably why he's going to use it tonight. But it was white a couple of weeks ago when I saw it out there on an old trolley that came down out of the archives. And then I saw it black after that. But I see there's a bit of gold on it now, so it's been through 3 different paint jobs in the last week.
Tiger Woods.
And again, as in a lot of the work that we do, I think it's nice to use minimal amount of flowers and use more quality rather than quantity. I mean, you get a much better look on an arrangement, and I think it's an awful lot more interesting than, you know, the plain round or oval. And I think the container is very important as well. I mean, any container is at least 50% of the design, and once you have a nice container to work with, it actually makes the job very easy. And always conscious of different textures, different shapes, and once you can pull them all together, that's what makes a good arrangement. So really the full content of flowers in that is just the 2 amaryllis, 3 roses, couple of anthuriums and a couple of heads of orchids. So there's very, very little flower material in what's quite a big arrangement. And there's a couple of round candles going on just to complement the 3 tall taper candles, and they're being fixed to the timber container with Oasis Fix, which is the same thing as blue tack, but it sticks to everything. And a couple of pieces of this soft green wire, again to create a bit more space and to just finish off the design. That's going to look nice on someone's table. And any of you down at the back that can't see everything as close up as we can up here, you know, feel free. We'll push some of the chairs back just to give you a chance to come up if you want to look at anything closely, or if you want to photograph anything, you're welcome to do that. And I think that's it.
Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've learned something here tonight. That's me finished. Thanks very much for calling. Thank you.